Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Breezeway Productions' The Breeze, where we continue our film festival coverage with the Sundance Film Festival and the Slam Dance Film Festival. Today, we have a wonderful filmmaker here with us today who has an official selection to Sundance this year. Her film is called The Fourfold, and may we welcome Alisi Telengut.
Hi, Alex. Thanks for the opportunity. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for being on the show today. So, I guess first, tell us a little bit about The Fourfold.
Yeah, so the Fourfold is a short animated film. It was animated by hand with under camera, like painting,
Mhm.
and mixed with some planned stop motion technique. And it's based on this animistic beliefs and shamanic rituals from Mongolia and Siberia from a long time ago. And people are still practicing and they've been revived in the past 20 years. So my
Mhm.
film is based on these beliefs. And most importantly, in the past 20 years, they've been revived from not only in Mongolia or Siberia, but like it's a worldwide indigenous movement,
Mhm.
but for environmental ethics and the protection of natural resources.
Oh, very nice. I was fortunate enough to check out the film. I thought it was beautiful, a nice type of art form that you used a lot of materials on. I was looking at a lot of bright colors. Some looks like paint in the back, and then it looks like things in the foreground that are actual things of substance, like objects. So, could you tell us a little bit about what elements you used to put together everything? What materials to make this? Frozen.
I'm sorry, the internet was kind of
Oh,
like all
yeah.
of a sudden the internet was
It's all
cut.
good. I was just curious about the materials that you used to make it, the stop motion production.
Yeah, sure. So I would say it's more like under camera animation, but it's very slow though. It's very repetitive and slow. And then at some point I was like, how am I gonna? Because under camera, it's basically I paint and drawn over on the same drawing over and over again and leaving the traces behind. But at the same time, I was thinking, how am I gonna use some other materials like textural materials and objects, and it could be faster actually, so I use some plants and other material, and then the film is about this nature. So
Okay. And it also goes with poetry that you is being told while we're watching the stop motion. So where was your influence to adding the poetry to the animation that's going on that while we're watching it?
oh, thank you so much. I think about it as poetry because I did interview on my grandmother, so she narrated. She did like there are lots of editing, but she narrated the film, and the poetry we kind of edited and practiced a few times because we wanted to be more concise. Yeah, so
Yeah.
thank you for thinking it as a poetry.
Well, that's the way that what I saw when I was listening to it, because the way that what I was watching felt like it was the telling of the Earth story. That's kind of what I was looking at as things were changing, as the phases of the bright blues, and then you went into more earth tones, and then you're watching. I just remember one sequence specifically of the trees, which looked like little broccoli that were right in the front as it was, moving
Oh,
towards. Yeah, so when I was looking at that, I was saying, is this a forest? Am I looking at that when we're talking about, emotions involved with, the changing of the scenery? So that's why it seemed like poetry to me. Did you tell us a little bit more about your culture and your practices while you were discussing that with your grandma?
yeah. So basically, I heard about all these rituals. Like for example, in the film, my grandmother talked about this milk libation and then this oval worshipping, and all this ritual I've seen and heard as a kid. But I mean, and then when I grew up, I heard that it was called animism, but of course, it's a term from Western anthropology from the 19th century.
Oh.
Hello,
Yeah, yeah. It's a little bit of a lag. Are you, so I'm in New York
hello.
right now. Yeah. Are you also coming to the meeting from Mongolia right now?
No, it's from Berlin.
Oh, you're from Berlin. Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, cross country. It's a long distance call, so sometimes you may cut out here and
Yeah.
there.
So basically, they call it animism, but it's from anthropology from the 19th century. But it's a colonialist term, because they kind of describe that Western European have advanced to the highest stage of science, but the rest of the people, the world's people, are still animistic and primitive. And then this idea was long shunned within ethnology in the 20th century.
Hmm.
And then in the past 20 years, like after 1990s, let's say, and then the term has become like more and more used by indigenous people. It even becomes like self-description.
Okay.
So recently, it has become like a term for the protection of natural resources and land rights,
Ah.
because animism is basically about like stones, cosmos, and trees alive as a person. In this way, you have respect for nature.
Yeah, I believe that humanity needs to have more respect for nature. I need to save the rainforests, which are getting cut down at exponential rates. Wildfires, like we heard of Australia and California in the past year, and it's even water shortages. Another thing that it was a hot topic is now it's being traded as a commodity like silver and gold. So I think that we need to pay heed to saving the earth. We have one planet, and people need to understand that that is what comes first in order because we all live on it together. So it says you're a Sundance veteran as well. So this isn't your first time at Sundance. You've had other projects there.
Yeah, at the film back in 2017, another short film in the animation spotlight program. It's called Mutak Homeland. It's about the forced deportations of the ethnic minority during the World War II by USSR in yeah by the Soviet Union.
Okay. Well, then you're once again coming back with another animation film. So it's you found your niche of what you'd like to create. Do you think that you might want to do a animated feature in the future with the stop motion technology that you've utilized in this project?
Yeah, I hope so one day. It's gonna
Yeah.
take lots of work, but one day, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. How long does it normally take when you're doing one of those stop motion frames to create that sequence? Like how long
Um,
to do all of that?
I mean, it's a good question, but also hard to answer because the Fourfold, for example, I was working on another film at the same time simultaneously. So like I was never full time, so I would say part time for 2 years.
2 years. That is a labor of love to make that project. And it conveyed it right there because look at the success that it's going to be having so people can showcase this work. And another reason that I love film festivals and exploring new films, shorts, documentaries, animations, narratives, whatever, what have you, the storytelling is still there. And I think that you've created a great project and I enjoyed watching the film. Is there anywhere people can go to check it out after it concludes at Sundance, like a website or social media or someplace like that? That like
Yeah, eventually it will be available on Vimeo. Yeah, I
okay,
mean, eventually it will be available on Vimeo, but maybe it's gonna be in a few months.
okay, very nice. Well, congratulations on your acceptance to Sundance this year. The stop motion animation film that you did, The Fourfold, I thought was beautiful to watch, and I commend your artistic ability and to make that 2 years. It's a very long time, and it's a wonderful festival to showcase it at. And I hope to look forward to checking out your films in the future.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity.